I wanted to introduce you guys to my absolute favorite cigar pairing.
Sure.
So that is the Liga Privada No. 9 and a big, beautiful, bold glass of Cabernet. So before we light up, I thought I would just have us get a little taste of the wine first. So we're going to go sip puff here. But first of all, tell us about the Decoy 2022 Paso Robles Cabernet Sauvignon.
That's good. It's delicious.
I love Cabernet. I don't know why.
Me too. I mean, this is a lot softer than a typical cab. It's definitely not hitting you right away with the tannins. Like it's
There's no pepper notes in this at all. Yeah. What do you like about it, Cory?
I feel like this little for a cab, it's a lot more fruit forward than I'm usually used to, which is great because I also enjoy a good Pinot Noir. So this is a good cab for me.
Cory, we haven't had you officially on the pod before.
I have not. I've been hiding in the corner.
Okay, so for those this is only our second episode. My name is John. This is...
You can call me Ole or I'm Brian.
He calls himself... Everyone calls him Ole.
Yeah.
There was a point at which we were almost going to call this Ole Smokes.
Oh.
Which is going to be a solo pod.
That'd be fun.
Just a solo pod where you're just sitting there smoking. Like, you wouldn't say a word. It would just be like 3 hours of just ambient noise of you smoking. So who are you, Cory?
Cory. And I work at the 52nd Happy Harry's. You can see me there all the time.
The news store.
The news store.
So tell us about the 19th is kind of that great humidor, but it's sort of tucked in there in the strip mall.
Yep.
52nd is a completely different beast.
It is.
If someone's never been to your store before and is considering going, what should they know? What can they expect?
It's probably the best selection in Fargo. Our biggest store. You walk in and it's just it just looks grand. It's big and open. I think that's the concept we're going for. When you walk in, you feel how grand it is right when you walk in, and you can see from one side of the store to the other, and you can see the thousands of bottles all laid out when you walk in. So it's a great experience just to walk in the door.
I like to watch people when they come in from out of town. And they've been, going to the smaller stores that they go to or visit, and all of a sudden they walk into 52nd, and next thing you know, their eyes just go, wow. It's like Taj Mahal.
If you haven't seen a big liquor store, that one gives you the wow factor.
It's a vibe shift, especially if you're used to, like when I was going to college, the preferred liquor stores were all fluorescent lit. Maybe a nice protected cash register area, maybe some bars for good measure, chicken wire on the windows if you're in that really interesting part of Fargo. And then you go to Happy Harry's and it's like, it's an eye-opener. Well, Cory, I wanted to bring you and Ole back because this is by far my favorite cigar and drink pairing. And we didn't do it last time. So this is the Liga Privada No. 9 by Drew Estate, and we're going to be talking all about Drew Estate today. And if you look there's a little detail on the wrapper that I just love, and we'll show this later. Hecho exclusivamente por la jefe. That was not correct Spanish. I don't speak Spanish. I took French in high school, but made exclusively for the boss. So this was the first cigar that I ever encountered. And this one's close, but the batch that I got the very first time, the wrapper it felt almost like a perfect leather. Like this texture right here on a cigar.
Yes.
Blew me away.
So on these right now, like so they just came fresh out of the box, so we'll open it up. The oils haven't had a chance to kind of come through that top wrapper. So you're not going to see any of that oiliness at this point in time. But you give it a good week or two in the humidor, it's definitely going to start popping. You might see some plume on there. You might see the little white spots that show up. That's like cigar crack, as they call it. And so when you're smoking it, it is good.
Yeah. What is plume for people for cigar smokers who are watching, who are just getting the cigars? would you
We
find
should have
plume?
brought some samples along. So some people, when they walk into humidors, if the humidity is correct, if it's good in that humidor, what'll happen, these little white dots will pop up. And if you could take it and you could brush it off with your finger, that's plume. Now, if you take it and you brush it and it smears, that's mold. Then there's a problem. So what really happens then is your temperature's too high, humidity's too high. It could be just a spot in the humidor that's just not correct. So these are the things that, we look at, and hopefully it doesn't happen. So I haven't seen any. So, yeah.
So I will watch for plume on the cigars that I'm aging in my humidor.
Yep. Wash it. And then, like I said, if you could just brush that stuff off and it comes off really easy, then it's plume.
Let's light. What do we got?
Okay. Oh, we got Happy Harry's later.
Good. Happy Harry's later. But what else did you bring here?
Oh, got some Drew Estate cutters. They're like ours, but a little nicer.
A little bit more robust.
Yep. The Drew Estate. We got the Deadwood cutters, same kind of cutter.
Okay.
So basically the same thing, just put it to the back end, cut it, cuts it really nice.
Thank you.
Welcome. I'll wet that up. So we used to have a gentleman come in. He would buy cigars. Old guy, taxi driver. He used to come in and he used to lick the whole cigar just to get it so it wouldn't burn so fast for him, because he'd always buy the big bundle cigars. He would put this whole thing in his mouth and it'd be like, wow.
Was he a guy who
Aggressive.
could he smoke on the job?
He had to smoke in his own car.
That might be the biggest difference between Uber and old taxi driving culture. No one smokes in an Uber anymore.
No.
I don't even think you're allowed to.
These, I would say, are definitely my favorite box to open at the store. Every time you open this box, you just get that straight aroma, just that fresh earth barn smell. Like, oh, it just hits you and you instantly, your mouth salivates. You're like, I need to light one now.
Yes, leather, nut.
Yes.
We'll get to this later, but that urge to smoke the Ligas is actually the reason that undercrown exists. You know this story?
I've heard a little bit of it. I don't know the exact story.
So basically the rollers, there's a Spanish word that I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce, but the rollers in the factory in Nicaragua were smoking too many Ligas.
Mm-hmm.
And so the management came down and said, you got to stop smoking Ligas. And the rollers then came up with using the same tobaccos, but different vintages and different, basically different profile. Same tobacco, but different aging, worked out the undercrown Maduro. And that became like the sort of the everyman's Liga, the Liga that you could smoke while on the job at the factory. And that's the story. We'll have to get into all the different Drew Estate.
Yeah, and that red underground's great too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, with Liga, started out as a private blend. It was just for the owner.
Yeah.
So it was going to be his own humidor.
This is Jonathan Drew. Was that
That's the first guy. Yep.
Yeah.
So they basically made it for him.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually with the demand going on and stuff like that, they were only making 250 cigars a day for 4 people, making 250 cigars a day. That was it. So eventually they opened it up to retail, and it's only select retail people that are picked. So you got to belong to the program to be able to get the Ligas out of Drew Estate.
So we have Ligas in, I think, all of our humidors.
Yep.
Okay. How did can you kind of walk us through our relationship with Drew Estate and how that came to be?
So Drew Estate, this is probably 5-6 years ago. We were invited to the ambassadors program. And what it entails is you have to have so many facings in the humidor. And of course, you have to buy so much in cigars. So we've qualified for that. So every time there's some available, I get a phone call from our rep. And he says, I have 10 boxes of Liga for you. Do you want them? I say yes. So everything that they offer, sometimes there's only 2 or 3. Sometimes there's the last batch we got were 15. So it depends on what they have and where it goes.
Well, phenomenal cigar.
Mm-hmm.
Really, really rich, earthy right off the rip. What are you getting, Cory?
Yeah, I mean, I get all those little slight leather, that real nutty. I mean, it's one of the few cigars from literally puff one. It smacks right away. Like, it's so good. And it's just as soon as you get to that halfway point too, it's just, you're in your wheelhouse with this one.
This one, like I said, it starts out, like you said, just starts out and it's right from the get-go. There isn't a harsh moment. There isn't even lighting it is not even harsh. And it's I would imagine it's going to get only better.
What sort of tobaccos do they have in here? I mean, the factory's in Nicaragua.
Mm-hmm. There's 7 different vegas they use, which a vega is a plot of land that they have. So they take that and they blend with all those. So I'm not sure the exact, if it's, it could be a Brazilian binder. It could be a Connecticut broadleaf on the outside, and it could be Nicaraguan Cuban seed in the middle. So that's generally what number 9's consisted of. So,
and the number 9, they never released a number 1, 2, 3 through 8. This was they were experimenting internally, and the number 9 stuck.
Yep, number 9 stuck, and then the T52 also stuck.
T52.
Yep. So they have the same sizes in T52 as they have in number 9. T52 I find to be a little bit lighter. So if you go to get a number 9, you may find yourself going, oh, it's a little bit much, since it's medium to full.
Mm-hmm.
And the other one is more medium to medium.
And this is probably what I immediately, gravitated towards the number 9s. The last time we were here, it was the first time I'd ever had a Connecticut cigar.
Mm-hmm.
I just love dark, full body. And with Cabernet, how's it going with your wine so far?
It's pairing nicely. They're both rich, full bodied.
That matches up really well. So the Cabernet is bold enough to go with this cigar.
Mm-hmm.
And generally with a heavier cigar, a full flavored cigar, you want something rich, vibrant, big flavor in a cab. So it's holding up. Greg picked a good wine to go with this one.
Well, I was a little nervous that I wasn't going to pass muster with the Liga, so I feel like I've got the Ole seal of approval. So
I almost get a green pepper back end on it.
Remember last time when I got the green apple and you were like, "Oh, well, some people might get that." I'll say the same thing.
Take a puff and then try it. Then you'll see what I'm talking. Right, okay. It's not like here's a green pepper, eat that. There's a hint of it, and it catches it right on the side And it's more towards the finish. I've just implanted probably
I mean, as soon as you said it, I did. There's like that. Okay, so
yeah,
I think there is, as you're swallowing, a little burst of bitterness, which is similar to the clean snap of a raw green pepper.
Now I subliminally put it into your mind. Actually, I told you, and I planted it. So.
Well, but that's the funny. There's this weird symbiotic relationship. I think we could probably dive into this for a little bit. There's a weird symbiotic relationship between talking about cigars and wine and enjoying cigars and wine. Like every other, I think, genre of appreciation has this where, okay, let's say you watch a movie and like one of my favorite theories is that throughout the entirety of Interstellar, the protagonist, played by Matthew McConaughey, is actually dead. That he's going through some kind of purgatory, and that's the key to the whole movie. So you might watch the movie and not that like that doesn't occur to you when you watch it, but as soon as you say it, you can go back and go watch it. Go, oh yeah, something similar here. Where would I have gone right to? Oh, that's green pepper. No, but you said it, and then I go back and like, I see where you're saying that. That makes a lot of sense. So there's something about you got to talk about the flavor you're getting, and also here's one for you: chocolate.
I did get a little chocolate.
You do, yeah.
Yeah, but you know what? With the cigar and the blending with the cab, I mean, it's going to bring out a whole bunch of different flavors.
Yes.
You know, not everyone's going to catch every little nuance that's in it. Everyone's going to have something different, and that's a good thing. Cory probably had something.
I mean, I get that slight chocolate on this.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this really, I feel like, brings out even like your slight berry notes in the wine, because this is so, I mean, I wouldn't say overpowering, but I mean, it's a little heavier than the wine. So then it causes the wine, I feel like, to drink a little lighter. Mm-hmm. But they would definitely complement each other very well.
Pushes that wine more into like that peanut.
It does, yeah.
So with Drew Estate, first of all, pass me some more Decoy here, because that is just tasty. With Drew Estate, we got to go back to 1996, Brooklyn, New York. Jonathan Drew. This is not a story, and the way the story starts, it's not a brand you'd think would come out with this incredibly full-bodied, rich Maduro cigar. First major brand they come out with is Acid.
Mm-hmm.
Ole, tell us the story. What happened with, how did Drew Estate start, and tell us about Acid for starters.
Acid, I think, is more for your recreational user. There are some people that actually smoke them every day too. It's an infused tobacco that they use, and it's got the chopped tobacco on the inside. It's not necessarily leaves. So chopped, and it's made for the masses. It's got some sweetness to it. It's got the, I don't want to say citrus. It's basically what they spray on the leaves while they're curing.
It's an infused cigar.
Correct.
So the way they infuse it is they spray.
Yep.
What do they spray on the leaf?
It must be some kind of something that tastes like citrus, because that's what I get out of it when I smoke on it.
No.
What do you get when you smoke on it?
I mean, yeah, you get sweet. I mean, I don't even... Sweet citrus, you get
sugar.
Yeah, basically you lick your lips after those, because the wraps just have so much of that on that it just lingers on your lips after you smoke one of those.
When Dirty Fabian pitches them, I think this is one of the guys' names.
He's one of the three.
One of the three. I had to take these notes. There's Jonathan Drew, who's the boss, except for a very brief period after Swisher acquired them. But yeah, Dirty Fabian. Whenever he pitches it, he always says, "Try the blue. It's incredibly sweet." That's what Acid's all about.
Yep, and that I would say is our best seller too.
Really?
Is that Acid Blue one? The Connecticut is
Blondie's 1400 cc. Cuba C notes. If you let something that's really, really small, C notes, bunch of stuff. So it's a good place to start for someone coming in that's looking for a cigar. I want to go be with my buddies outside, and I normally don't smoke a cigar. You know, either do the Connecticut wrap, you do a Blondie, or you do something smaller so you don't have to sit and smoke it. Like myself, when I go out and golf, I've pretty much got a cigar in my mouth all the time.
An Acid cigar or something different?
No, just something like this.
Gotcha.
I use it as an aiming stick, so.
Oh yeah, you leave it nice long.
Yeah, well, if you look at it, and in the ball, if you hit 2 inches behind the ball, you look at that, point your cigar 2 inches in front of the ball, and follow it, and you're there.
I would love the challenge of filming a cigar special on a golf course. I think we could probably figure out how to do that.
There might be some crazy words coming out of people's mouths.
Sounds like a good day of work.
The good news is one can bleep, and also two, YouTube is very forgiving. Actually, I think YouTube is more forgiving of words than Greg would be. So there's a little thing there, but he keeps the brand standards pretty high. So what effect did Acid cigars have when they hit the market in 98? Like, where was the cigar market then, and how does...
In 98?
Yeah.
I believe it was on cigar sales always kind of go on that little roller coaster ride where it gets high and then it drops down and then it goes back up again. I think they were on a high at that point in time. So coming out with something different and something innovative at that time was good for them. So that got them into the market and kept the machine kind of going. So then in the meantime, they were still making all the rest of them they were working on. And they continually keep trying to get new cigars. And with their freestyle program that comes up, and I believe there's another one coming up in April, and that cigar is all sugar. I mean, you put it in your mouth and it's like, ugh. So
It's called a freestyle?
it's a freestyle. It's a program. It's a event they run.
Okay.
Freestyle
Tell
event.
about that.
And it's all around the U.S. I mean, the retailers, the certain retailers get them and certain ones don't.
We get them.
Yeah. We've got a few of their humidor packs. It's got a lighter in it, and it's got a 4-pack of cigars, and I think is there a cutter in it too. So that whole pack's like $39.99, and it's a good starter for someone. Yeah, the humidor's not like A1 top quality, but it's enough to get someone started if they wanted to put some cigars together and buy a Veda pack and put it in there.
What other brands from Drew Estate stand out, and how should people understand, for people who just are hearing about Drew Estate for the first time, what is the relationship between the estate versus the brands, and what people can expect from those different ones that they have out right now?
Well, go ahead, Cory. You got a couple in mind that you know?
I mean,
Herrera Steli.
yeah.
That's a nice one. It's got a lighter wrap and a darker wrap. Undercrowns.
Yep.
And those are always good. The Flying Pigs come out. There's a little pigtail.
Then there's, of course, the Deadwoods.
Deadwoods. That is another story in itself.
You tell it. Well, we got the time. What's the story of Deadwoods?
Well,
there?
it started out. Deadwood Tobacco had Drew Estate make their cigars for them. Well, long story short, now it's in litigation because Drew Estate now is running the show on that whole thing.
Yes.
So that's long story short. So there was a little bit of a lawsuit going on right now.
But with the products that we have in our humidors right now, walk us through the Deadwood cigars that Drew Estate makes.
Okay, so the ones we carry in the humidor right now, we got Deadwood Sweet Jane, Crazy Alice, Fat Bottom Betty, the Gordito, the Toro, the Liver Gusto. There's also the tins, Sweet Jane tins, 10 packs. So
Day of the Dead one.
Day of the Dead, that was out for Halloween, but there's still a few left in the humidors.
I still have some Halloween candy left over at my house as well.
That's happening.
So, well, actually, you probably do too. Do your kids go turkey?
Yes.
Yeah, you got to hold on some of that. You can't do all the Halloween goodies right off the rip.
No, we take the grandkids over to Uncle Dustin's neighborhood.
Oh, I'll bet Uncle Dustin's neighborhood is
It's a gold mine for kids.
Yes.
And there's a lot of children out there. I mean, there's a lot of activity, and you don't normally see that in some neighborhoods. And that area is just full.
Would when my kids turn 21, would a Crazy Alice or a Fat Bottom Betty or what's the Jane one?
Sweet Jane.
Sweet Jane. Would that be a good first cigar, do you think? What do you think?
I offer them out to some of my friends that don't smoke a lot of cigars. Obviously, a lot of them are not going into it wanting something that's just earthy and classic cigar. Some of them to get into it, involved. Give them a little bit of flavor just to dip their toes in the water. Eventually, they'll like me, you'll slide over to something a little more classic. But I don't mind a flavored cigar every now and then. I mean, it's just a change up. It's nice.
How did you get started in cigars, Cory? If you could take us back, I've shared my incredibly embarrassing story I assume yours is slightly cooler than that. How did you get started?
I think my first cigar was probably out on the golf course. Just one of my friends. I think my first one was just a flavored CAO, and what got me to wanting to try it was literally the smell coming off of it. And you smell, and you're just like, oh, it smells pretty good. Maybe I'll try that. And had one of those, and eventually get a little older, you start trying some other things like bourbon, and then you start realizing, well, hey, maybe I don't want a flavored stick to pair with this bourbon. So then you start getting into these, and it's no looking back since then.
The Deadwoods, the place I think they hold is if you've started with a Swisher Sweet. I had a buddy in college who he always smoked Swisher Sweets. I'd have an Arturo Fuente going. He'd have a Swisher Sweet. We would just make fun of each other. But if you wanted to like get somebody who's in the Swisher world into the world of more
of a nicer stick, I would definitely go that route.
Yeah. And honestly, can you show the camera that like the graphic design that they've worked out with Deadwood is really, really quite something.
We have to try and zoom in somehow. But
well, what I'll do is in a minute here we'll shoot some B-roll. But at any rate,
yes, their art definitely stands out on their Deadwood stuff. It calls even people come in just looking for the empty box of them just because of the art on it. So
they're nice boxes. It's definitely brought Drew Estate more. I mean, there's definitely ice, but people are just buying them now.
I've also noticed the more female crowd buying some of the flavored sticks too, and going, buying the Sweet Janes. Not that they don't smoke the other ones, but it's just what I've seen them gravitate in the humidor.
Yeah, and we even have women coming and picking up cigars for their husband. They know exactly what they want, and they'll take the suggestions, and we bring them back, and they come back, and they're happy.
Oh yeah, and that's a nice thing about the stores is with Happy Harry's, if we have a lot of people, we got a really wide gamut of clientele that Hal's original vision for what a Happy Harry's store could be was everybody's welcome, from the CEO to the day laborer to the mom to business lady, like wherever you're at, you can feel comfortable in our stores and comfortable in our humidors. To put it lightly, some other places that might have cigars, they don't have Ligas, they don't have the relationship you do with Drew Estate, but when you walk in there, they don't cultivate a totally comfortable vibe.
No.
Yeah. To put it candidly. Especially the places with all the, you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, we've got people that come in and asked if we have cigars, and we take them to the humidors. Mm-hmm. And by the time they get in there, they're not, like I said, they're not used to seeing the selection and don't know a lot about each of the groupings. They know about the Romeos, they know about the Macanudos, they know about CAOs, because they've been around for, more of an in-your-face kind of brand for so many years.
So we'll cut here and do some B-roll, then we'll get back to talking more about Drew Estate. But right now, what is the thing in each of your stores that you're most excited about that isn't wine and isn't a cigar?
Tequila. I like a good sipping tequila, and I'll do a good añejo with a cigar. I enjoy that a lot, and that's kind of out of the norm for a lot of people. And then when I bring around a nice añejo to my friends that are drinking bourbon, and I win them over with that, basically.
What's a brand of tequila that is really doing it for you right now?
Cincoro. Cincoro Añejo is by far my favorite right now.
How do you enjoy it?
I just drink it neat. You get little slight butterscotchy notes to it. It's very smooth and mellow. I really enjoy that one. It pairs really well with any Habano stick, is really great with it. Any Maduro. Those two do it for me.
I think maybe Cory has to pick a cigar and añejo pairing, and we'll have to do a tequila episode.
Yeah, I think you should.
We'll have to have Uncle Dustin drive you guys up though, so we can really get into it. All right.
We're having a sleepover.
Honestly, you guys could. We have room. Now, the problem is I also have several very, very small children, so you guys might, there might be some noises in the middle of the night, but we've all been there. It's, little humans are fun. They keep your world exciting.
They do.
They were
No filters.
no.
I keep a notes app in my phone of each of my children and like funny stuff that they say.
They've said that's.
Oh yeah, and
I like that.
It's so, like my son's first entry is peaches are my favorite wet fruit. What? It's like, okay, I get with the logic of that sentence, but my gosh, that I will say my favorite thing currently at Happy Harry's that I'm super excited about is a Blanco tequila. I think it's Santero.
Oh yeah, we just got that. Yep.
That I have been in the the Don Julio Lalo world where really high quality Blanco tequilas, really, really great for mixing into a margarita, great clean finish, and also like it doesn't stick around for tomorrow.
Yeah.
You can wake up the next day and like, oh, I had a Thursday night margarita. Friday still feels like a full
And you feel it, yeah.
Yeah. So to have a tequila that was, to have a tequila that was comfortably coming in that premium Blanco slot at a much more affordable price point.
That's a great price point.
Beautiful bottle, like nice, dense, like it's everything about that bottle, I think is just A+.
Yeah.
Really, really solid. So that's what I'm particularly excited about this season is it's spring. I'm drinking margaritas just to slowly push winter away. That's my goal.
And I've noticed a lot of that going on lately. So I think a lot of people are going that route with the margaritas lately.
So Ole, while we were talking about tequila, my cigar went out.
Correct.
And there's a way I can relight this without having impurities in it. Walk me through it.
So what you've already done is you've blown out the end. Okay, so that'll blow out the smoke that's still kind of lingering in the tobacco leaves.
Yes.
And what you want to do now is clip that end. Here, hold on. Let's get you. You want to clip that end so it's all that burnt ends are done. And now you can relight. You're good there now.
You sure?
Yep.
I'll do one.
Okay. That works.
Yep. That's good.
Yep. So now you're not going to get all the burnt leaves from the outside that were there. And you start it just the way you would normally go again from the beginning. So the reason it goes out too is so it's kind of lack of smoking it because you were busy doing other things. And second of all, the oils in the darker tobacco have a tendency to slow the burn down.
Well, these are, these are
so
very
cigars,
burning cigars.
Yeah, so they burn longer, they last longer. Let's say more bang for the buck,
Well, that's when I first started smoking these. The thing I told people was, I think the price point then was like around that $18 to $20 range. So when I first started smoking these, I just summarized it as $20.
Mm-hmm.
I had called up a friend of mine and I said, Brian, I have terrible news. $20 cigars, worth it.
So they are.
This is absolutely worth it because it burns longer, the flavor is richer. And those ones I had then were aged for a while, so they had that really supple, oily wrapper.
Mm-hmm.
So that is how you, and yeah, no bitterness on that. Honestly, they have a number 9 that is the shorter size. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head.
Yeah, Robusto.
Yes. This tastes,
Corona Viva is a little bit skinnier and just a little longer than a Robusto.
This tastes like the Robusto on a first light. Like no bitterness. It's really, really nice. But you got to tell us, what are you excited about at Happy Harry's right now?
I'm excited about all the new stuff that's coming in. I mean, every day there's always something new being presented. Like last week we just got the new Baileys in. There's a cookies and cream, and there's what's the other flavor, Cory?
The toffee.
The toffee. And they're non-dairy, so you can actually put them in your coffee. So it's, that. There's new bourbons. There was another new Penelope came in. Really nice bourbon. It's got great nutty notes. It's got just great flavor.
Wow.
So
I
name a couple.
has Bailey's always been dairy free, or is that a new thing?
Nope, new thing. They did an almond
Okay.
one.
Almond milk.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was kind of their new one that they did not too long ago. And now with the non-dairy ones, they've done really well in the first week launch with them.
That's good to hear.
Yeah,
So I'm going to throw a couple other Drew Estate brands that I've seen in our humidors, and just let's lightning round those. So the Herreras.
Mm-hmm.
What's that? Where do they sit in the Drew Estate pantheon of cigars?
I would have to say they're actually behind the Undercrown, but they're, a great entry level for Drew Estate. $8.99, $9.99 in that area. It's still got great flavor.
Yeah, they're still going after that real earthy notes is what they're kind of known for with those. And
definitely earthy notes just on any of their non-infused cigars.
You mentioned Undercrown. What do we got going on there?
That's right behind Liga and their little portfolio. So they've also got, there's some less expensive brands. Isla is another one that's it's probably $5.99 a stick, and it's a very light, easy to approach cigar.
How do you spell Isla?
ISLA.
Gotcha. Is it they do any Scotch infusing with that, or
Nope, no Scotch infusing at all.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. And then there's Undercrown, both Maduro and Shade Ground. What's the difference between those two?
Well, the Shade is going to be, if you're trying to compare it to something, a little bit more than Connecticut, but still lighter in flavor for the masses.
Sure.
The other one now is going to have their bigger, earthier tones, and it will definitely have some more flavor to it. I don't want to go too much into what I'm going to pick out of it.
Go ahead. What do you know? No, you got it. Green pepper.
That was just happened to be the
Roasted
pairing.
Brussels sprout.
No, Brussels sprout. No, not Brussels. No.
You've had there's Brussels sprouts here in town that I'm thinking of. You know the ones I'm talking about, right?
No.
You were mentioning this place earlier.
Oh, Harry's Steakhouse.
I suppose we can name drop Harry's Steakhouse. They have very good Brussels sprouts. I think so.
Okay, let's do it.
I'll check with Greg.
Okay.
They're a fan. Hal has this great energy where he's sort of a serial entrepreneur. I don't think he can sit still. So after starting Happy Harry's, he went off into Harry's world. This is a great opportunity. Drop this little nugget on you guys.
There it comes. Got the phone out.
I think you're going to love this story. So everybody knows I'm going to go ahead and
I don't care. This cigar is really good.
Yes, you win. Okay, so shout out to my buddy Adrian. Shout out to Adrian.
Adrian, shout out.
His father-in-law has been going through old Grand Forks Herald articles because the entire back catalog has been digitized. So this is a story from somewhere in the 1930s.
Okay.
It is titled, Robbers Meet Grocer's Request, Break In Door. So the article reads like this. Burglars are now complying with Harry Gershman's request to use the door instead of breaking a window when they rob his store. Police early Sunday found the side door of the grocery 731 2nd Avenue South had been forced. The cash register, containing $3 to $4 in pennies, was taken. It's still missing. Back in March 1937, after a series of robberies, Harry advertised in the Herald, quote, "Burglars, attention. In robbing store, please use front door. We're tired of replacing windows. This is the first robbery since, although there have been a couple of attempts.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
Big news back in 1930.
Yeah.
So that was our namesake.
Just robber shaming them.
Absolutely. That is Harry, and there's another one. There's another one. Use doors, save windows. Harry urges burglars. First, the prowlers broke in through a basement window. Then they took to using a window at the back of the store. A bit of a dampness saved the beer bar the time it was set fire.
Yes.
What they'll do next, Harry doesn't know. An appeal to chivalry or something might help, Harry reasoned, hence the ad. Harry's almost willing to leave the door open. Whoever the prowlers are, they get the idea at the end of each month. Oh, so our namesake. Speaking of pennies, penny sale's coming up.
It is.
April 24th.
So for people who don't know, this episode will come out right before the penny sale. What's the penny sale? Why should people go? What is the, I mean, it almost speaks for itself around here, but if you're new to town, Cory, what's the penny sale?
Our penny sale is our biggest sale we do of the year. We do it twice a year. Our bottles, our classic penny sale used to run, how it got its name. We'd run one bottle at full price. You'd buy the second one, you get it for a penny. The name is just stuck around. And that's what people know our sale as. So we continue that name. However, now we have it where you can buy, instead of having to buy one, get one for a penny, we just have the price half off. You get that. You buy one bottle at the half price it usually is. We run that sale for 4 weeks. We have a great selection of wine on this sale. Whether you like sweet wines, dry wines, sparkling wine, should have something there that you like. And with the wine, occasionally we'll throw some alcohol with some liquor on the sale. And those are great buys to find. You won't find those year round. So when you see those bottles, those liquor bottles come on the penny sale as well, it's time to snatch those up.
It is, as a customer, great time to fill up your wine.
It is.
Great time.
I'm just down to the last case of wine I bought on the last penny sale. So
You timed it just about.
I did time it. Now, it's, I'm probably closer than most consumers to so I kind of know what's going to be happening when. So I have a little advantage there. But yeah, just phenomenal. And honestly, always great. I mean, for me, in my little world, always great cabs in the mini sale. I don't believe, Greg doesn't tell me what's going to be on the penny sale, so I've got no reason to believe this particular cab would be. But whether it's like the Grand Noir, or I think Method was on there one year.
There's always some runs to find.
Honestly, even Coppola Claret, that is just a Claret per Claret. I don't know what they call it. But anyway, the Coppola Claret with the fishnets on the bottle, that's a great Cabernet. So good. Even,
Well, when you're getting a $20 cab for $10, I find that $20 range is just where you're really separating into the great cabs.
Yeah.
So when you're getting those for $10, it's a great time to stock up on those.
Yeah, there'll be a lot of selection between that, I wouldn't say $20 to $30 range.
Yeah.
So there should be, like I said, good selection.
So, big cigar event coming up. Told me about Blues Fest.
The Blues Fest will be the end of July, first part of August. Just depends on what dates open at Newman Outdoor Field.
Yeah.
2 days of blues music, 5-6 bands each day, or groups or individuals that come in, national recording acts, award winners. It's fun. A lot of people coming down. A lot of people coming from all over the place.
Was this originally a Rib Fest?
No,
this is different.
no, this is totally different. So this is probably our 26th year being there.
A Blues Fest.
We'll be selling cigars.
Okay.
So you could smoke on the grounds, even though some people say you can't, but you can smoke on the grounds.
Who says you can't smoke on the grounds?
Now, sometimes they forget to take it out of their their website and also the Red Ox handbook that they have.
So we'll put it out officially right now. You can smoke at Blues Fest.
You can.
Yeah.
Cigars on the field.
Just be courteous of other people. Don't keep blowing it in their face. And you're going to have some people that aren't going to like it. So just kind of move away from them and they'll be fine.
Yep.
When I was in college, there was a particular girl I was at Happy Harry's Blues Fest, or it was Rib Fest. Nitty Gritty Dirt Band was playing, and this girl.
I was there.
You were there?
Yeah,
I was there.
I've been there.
Was very upset with me for having a cigar, and yeah, you just gotta. Some people just haven't found the Lord yet, and you gotta just walk away.
Yep.
You just gotta let it go.
You're in the outdoor space. There's plenty of room to find.
What can you commit? What Drew Estate products we're gonna have out at Blues Fest this year?
Drew Estate will probably have a couple of the Ligas out there. We'll have some acids for just your regular people. We'll have their tins out there you can buy or buy them individually. Might even be a bundle cigar out there that's for the people that are just going out and have their one cigar a year at that festival.
Phenomenal. Now, a couple other Drew Estate brands to throw out at you guys. I don't know if you ever carried them. Kentucky Fire Cured.
We did.
We had.
It was very, very potent. Basically, as soon as you open that box, you're gonna get hit right in the face with all that.
Everything.
It was very, very, very heavy barn smell when I opened that one. And then they're each individually wrapped. So unlike the other Ligas that are, you open the box and they're all there, you see all their oil, each one of those is wrapped. And when you pull that thing out of the wrap, that smell intensifies by 10.
Yeah.
So if it's a very heavy hitter, so you definitely got to be prepared for that cigar.
What's the reason that they are such heavy hitters? There's a process that they're doing with those fire cured ones. What's that process?
Well,
that's a good question.
I'm going to tell you.
Yeah,
you tell me. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So instead of air curing the tobacco,
Yep.
what they do is they get a fire going in the barn underneath it, and then they cure the tobacco, the filler, with smoke.
Sure.
So you're getting that, like, it's almost like the way that they smoke the barley in Scotch. They do that, but with their filler leaves. It's a really interesting.
I mean, it really takes it in because you can smell that aroma instantly.
And it's the first cigar that's smoky before you light it. And then that's a whole other layer. I got my dad, who knew nothing about cigars at all, like just went online, found Kentucky Fire Cured for some reason, and sent me a pack once. And I thought it was so strange that here's a guy who knows nothing about cigars, and he picked out randomly the most niche.
Yeah.
Like it's very much an acquired
It is. Yes.
taste for sure. I know I'm forgetting some Drew Estate brands that we carry. We covered Herrera, Undercrown, both types, Ligas, Acids, Deadwood. There's a lot going on in this.
There's a lot more in their portfolio. There's a lot of the stuff we can't get.
Well, we can't get Pappies.
We do get Pappies on occasion.
On occasion, yeah.
Yep. Once in a while they'll come out and they'll get a group or a batch and we can get those.
Can you explain what the Pappies are if we get them? Like why people would be interested in those?
So what they do with the tobacco in that one, they smoke the Kentucky Fire Cured ones.
Yep.
This one they use the Pappy Van Winkle barrel and let everything absorb into the tobacco. So you get a little bit of the bourbon taste on the cigar.
Any final notes, Ole? Any thoughts on Liga, on Drew Estate?
Yeah, Liga next month, April.
Okay.
Liga Privada month. So at times we're going to have Liga Privada on sale.
You're gonna have Ligas on sale.
On sale, we got enough built up so we can have them on sale. We're going to pick a couple and we'll keep adding on throughout the month. There's going to be some sampler packs so you can do your Undercrown, you can do your Herrera, you can have a bundle. There's going to be a Liga in there. There's going to be a cutter. We're going to sell them as 5 packs. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. Something different. It'll be our first time doing like a cigar of the month.
I'm excited for that.
Yes.
I'm excited for that because
My favorite line.
it's my favorite. It's my favorite line too, and it's also a line that I've given Zip a hard time about. Like, hey Zip, you ever gonna put Ligas on sale? He's like, well, John, I know you would buy them if they were $30 a stick, and I said, you're not wrong.
Well, yeah.
This will give people a chance to. I mean, it's not going to be, there's going to be some savings on it, but to give them a chance to maybe say, I'm going to try one.
Yeah.
The number 9 Toro I know the 19th Avenue store is probably the number 1 Liga being sold. But,
Yeah.
if they wanted to try something different, smaller size, more intense flavor, or the bigger Corona double that we have here, that's just great all the way through. I haven't had a bad spot yet.
No, me neither.
Burns, like unreal.
Just about to the fingertips.
Are you gonna go like full?
I mean, if I had a poke to put in here, I'd go even lower. But
we don't sell anything that you could use for a poke, do you?
I currently don't.
That would be an interesting
You know
product.
what you could do?
What could you do?
If worse comes to worse, I mean, there's a lot of like little tricks, like a toothpick or a paper clip, anything just to hold that end, so you won't have to burn your fingertips while you get down to the end of it. But
Yep.
Most of the pokes, I haven't really found any that aren't over the $20 mark.
Yeah. So my worst habit, but it's also sort of my favorite habit, is if I'm getting down to the end of a cigar and I'm really enjoying it, just light another one.
Yeah.
That is true. That is true. Why not? So, Cory, any final thoughts on Drew Estate, Ligas?
No, I just hope you guys get the chance to try some of these, buy some of these sticks. If you don't quite get up to the $20 Liga here, I mean, the $10 Undercrown is an excellent choice as well. So,
funny thing about the Undercrowns is, the reason that they started making those. Oh, I already mentioned the story. Never mind. Yeah, it was the cigar rollers wanted something that felt like a Liga that they could smoke on the floor, but they're
not breaking the wallet on that,
No.
Yep.
Also, the reason Ligas are so high in demand, I want to say it, every store that can get them wants them, is they only have 4 rollers that roll them, 250 cigars a day.
So that's still the case, that there's only 4 rollers.
Now, they're not, if they don't go out to your beginner roller's not going to roll a Liga. This roller's been with them for a long time. Any of the higher end ones, if they take their best rollers and put them on that. So when you see these construction of these, and you have like just say a lesser expensive cigar, they burn a little bit different. They burn a little funny. They have some pockets where all of a sudden it burns through and it comes up the side.
Yep.
Or it burns down
we had a couple issues with that with the Oliva G last time.
Yeah. Coming down the vein, get that little, kind of want to say a scoop or a spoon on the one side. I haven't ever had a problem with that with these.
No.
They're smooth. They're less veiny.
Yeah.
So
they're really, really high quality. Who knows where my life will go or what my season will be, but I had a strong, big Romeo and Irish whiskey phase. Then there was a pipe tobacco phase in my life. And now, sort of arriving in my mid-30s, I guess I'll call this my midlife crisis cigar, where, mid-30s, but this is like the stick. This is the combo. Some wine, good Maduro, rich cigar. I love it. It's fantastic.
I could say one thing too is one way for you to get out of the house and not have to worry about the kids running at you and the wife calling out saying supper's ready or that type of thing. So I go out and I smoke in my garage and I just kind of throw them over in the grass area.
You got a whole pile there.
No, actually I pick them up. I'm pretty that I don't really want the wife to know how many I've been smoking.
I used to have a bird bath out here. I put my dad's in, and I got to a point where like my kids would come out like, "Whoa, Daddy, that's a lot of cigar." And so I solved that problem by ripping out the bird bath. Got rid of that. Well,
they have. I have a Minnesota. When I go pick them up, I have a Minnesota Vikings bucket that I put them in. Just dirty and gross in the bottom. Kind of sounds like the Vikings, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Dirty and gross. Don't
Dirty.
tell Dustin that.
Well, I mean, the Vikings, it's a little sad that, who is it? Is it, it's Surly. Surly has the Before I Die.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that you can brand an entire beer
Off of it.
reliably off of the Vikings' bad performance, that's a real issue for sure.
Oh, definitely.
Hmm.
Well, can't wait for football season to start.
You're not a baseball fan?
I love baseball. The Cubs are like, they better get their act together. But they should be all right this year.
Can you sell me on baseball? Because baseball to me seems like a really fun sport to play because you're basically just sitting with your buddies in the dugout, and then you for every 20 minutes, oh, I'm gonna go hit. Oh, okay, I run a little. Okay, I'm back, boys. Or we're just hanging out of the outfield, but I can't watch it, or at least not yet.
Okay, so when you were a kid, did you play baseball?
I played t-ball.
Okay, so that's as far as you went. Did you ever go to any games after that?
I used to work at the Metrodome.
Okay, so when you worked at the Metrodome, when you sat there and you watched an inning and then you go do whatever you're doing to get your job, right?
Yes, I was making dome dogs.
I think some people, when they watch baseball, it's kind of like, oh, it's so boring because Johnny's out there in left field adjusting his cup or whatever, right? So when I'm watching baseball, which I like to watch on TV because then I can watch the pitches a little bit more. I love watching the pitcher-batter reactions. So what the pitcher does to combat what the batter makes an adjustment to. So let's say the batter gets up in the first inning, he throws a fastball on the inside, and the guy just rips it down the line for a double. So now the second time he comes up, I go, well, last time he threw him an inside fastball. So now let's see what he's going to do to him. He starts him out with a curve on the outside. The guy swings and misses. So he's going, okay, you can't hit a curveball too well. So he may buzz him upside and inside with a fastball just to set him up. Throw another curveball afterwards or throw one lower on the inside, and the guy will swing over the top of it again.
So the enjoyment is...
That's for me.
Seeing, well, that's a great way to enjoy it because I guess whenever I watched it, I was never even consciously thinking about what previous pitches had come that batter's way. So the enjoyment then becomes, okay, what games are happening within the game?
Basically.
Yeah.
That's the game right there. I mean, for me, that's if a pitcher is on, the batter will have no chance. You'll see a pitcher flying along. He's got 7 shutout innings, and he finally starts to get a little bit tired, and all of a sudden a couple of guys get a hit, then they yank him, which sometimes I think is a mistake, but understandable. And then the reliever comes in, and he's been watching the whole game from the bullpen or on the TV in the bullpen. They have the pitching chart of what they've been doing to each pitcher, and this guy just throws gas. And he throws that little baby slider that probably doesn't move that much, probably this much, but that's what he's got. The reliever comes in, or a big curveball. And he's out just doing the same thing. And these guys now have to adjust to the new pitcher coming in.
And that's part of the fun and the drama is watching the batters try to make sense of the pitcher, watching the pitcher make sense of the batters.
Yep.
And so you just kind of ignore the outfield at that point.
I mean,
Well, because, a pop-up was a pop-up and a ground ball is a ground ball. And there's some great plays being made out there. There's no doubt about that. Second baseman diving in the hole to grab a ball and get on his knees and throw a guy out. That's a great point.
I mean, all those plays are tough,
Yeah, but
they just make it look so easy.
they've been doing it for so long, and that's what they practice. I mean, that's why they're getting paid millions of bucks.
I like when the hitters feed off of each other.
Yeah.
And they basically go on like a little rally or something, or they can feed that energy basically.
They talk.
Yeah.
And is it true there's this paradox I saw explained in basketball? Someone was it was a meme explaining why March Madness is so great. And it was a scene from Oppenheimer where Oppenheimer is saying, it's a paradox, but it works, or it's a contradiction, but it works. And they said, the basketball players are worse at basketball, but it's a better basketball game because of it. Is there a level of that in baseball where like the minor leagues, like the Red Hawks, it's better baseball because they're not pro level baseball players, or does it not quite work that way?
There's probably a little more hitting. There's probably a little more, the pitcher trying to find out who he is,
Sure,
and what he's doing. So
A little more risk taking, I would say, to try to get a name for themselves.
Yeah, there's probably more action. There's a lot of the guys from that league, the Red Ox League, that they play that do they get called up or they get their contract spot by the major leagues. And then they go double A or single A or triple A even to see if they can get ready for the big leagues.
You ever go to Red Hawks games?
Yeah.
Sorry. You're good?
Yeah.
Is that your wake up alarm?
I guess.
So they
It's 3 o'clock time to get up, I guess.
So it's if you're looking at that, I mean, again, the same thing applies to that. Pitcher's trying to go out there and outsmart the batter, and the batter's out there going, okay, what's he throwing? I'm going to wait for my pitch because he's going to eventually have to do it because he's not throwing strikes every time or getting close.
What's the perfect cigar to have while watching baseball, Ole?
Perfect cigar? Any cigar is good to have.
I was gonna say that's an easy answer. Yeah,
Whatever you have available.
You're watching a game with a stogie in your mouth. You're doing something right.
Yeah, like I said, we have the luxury of having the biggest humidors in town that we can go into and go, I feel like this one today, or I feel like this one, or this is new. I haven't tried this one yet.
And if there's a point to this whole episode, maybe we'll end it here. We uniquely, not only having the biggest humidors, but we also have a very wide selection.
Correct.
Like what you could get at other cigar shops, you can get at our humidors, but you're not going to get these Ligas at just any cigar shop.
No.
We've built that relationship. We've earned these Ligas with the support we've given to Drew Estate, and we appreciate that they pass premium cigars our way, especially ones that are so limited in availability.
Yeah.
Yep.
So get your Ligas at Happy Harry's. Get all your cigars at Happy Harry's, and we'll make your visit. We'll even do a carryout for you for your cigar. Here it is. The easy carryout. All right. Thanks everybody for hanging out.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.